Welcome to iOSmojo.co. I'm TJ, and on today's video I'm going to show you how to prolong the life of the battery on the iPhone 4S, the iPhone 4, and these settings should work on the iPhone 3GS as long as it has iOS 5 on it. Before we get started, I just want to note that we will be turning off some of the services on your phone that will disable some of the features. So make sure that you choose wisely which one of these you want to implement. And anything that you do turn off, you'll want to make sure to turn it on whenever you're ready to use it. So with those warnings, let's get started. First thing we're going to turn off is the Bluetooth. To do that, you're going to hit Settings, and then you go to General, and then you go down to Bluetooth. You'll press on the toggle button at the top. This disables Bluetooth. Whenever you're ready to use it again, all you do is hit your toggle button again, and all your settings will be saved. So you won't have to worry about going through setup of your Bluetooth again. And this will be the case for all the settings that we disabled today. Whenever you turn a setting off and then you re-enable it, all your previous settings will be saved. The next thing we're going to disable is your Wi-Fi. So if you click on Settings, you go to Wi-Fi, and then at the top there you just hit your toggle button similar to what we did with the Bluetooth. And again, once you turn it back on, all your settings will be saved. It'll reconnect without issue. Wi-Fi is constantly searching for networks, so this is a big one to disable whenever you're not using a Wi-Fi network. The next thing that we're going to disable is your cellular data. So click on Settings, go down to General, then you'll go down to Network, and then Cellular Data. So whenever you're connected to a Wi-Fi connection, you'll turn your cellular data off. And anytime that you don't want to receive data when you're away from a Wi-Fi, data being email, web browsing, and any of your push notifications, which it lists here. Whenever you're connected to your Wi-Fi network, you'll still receive these. It just won't do it over your cellular data. But you'll want to make sure to re-enable this if you want to use any of those features and you're away from a wireless network, a Wi-Fi spot. It should be noted that you will still receive phone calls and you can still receive text messages with this disabled. The next thing that we're going to change is the way that your device receives data. Now there's three ways that your device will receive data. It'll be push, which means that it gets sent to your device pretty much instantly. As soon as you receive an email, it pretty much pops up in your box right away. The next way is fetch, which means on the interval that you set, it'll initiate a data transaction every X minutes, whether it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour. The third way is manually. Manually just means that your phone or your device won't do anything until you manually tell it, go out and get my mail, go out and get my Facebook notifications. So you'll go into Settings, you'll go down to Mail, Contacts, and Calendars. You'll have to scroll down. I'm already scrolled down, that way you guys couldn't see all my contact information. You'll select Fetch New Data, and then you'll turn off your push if it's on. And then once push is turned off, it's going to default to fetch. And on fetch, you're going to want to set your interval. How often do you want your device to go out and pull the information? Every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes, once hourly. If you don't receive information very often, if you don't get a lot of emails or you don't get a lot of important emails, things of that nature, you can leave it at hourly. Or if you need it sooner, obviously, you're going to bump up your time a bit. Manually is your other option. I personally don't see any reason to set it to manual. The reason being that any data that you want, if you want email, if you want a Facebook notification, you're going to have to go out and initiate that. So at most, I would set it out to an hour. Most users will probably use 15 minutes. If you're a business user, you probably want to leave push on. Next thing we're going to look at is location services. What location services does is it gives your location to any application that it is enabled for. So every time you access an application that you turn on location services for, it's going to send out a GPS signal and send your GPS location. This is a huge drain on your battery. So I highly recommend that you turn off location services for any application that it isn't absolutely necessary. So you're going to go to Settings. Once in Settings, you'll see Location Services. And you can leave it on its top. The main reason that you want to leave it on, if for no other reason, is for your iPod or iPhone Finder. Whenever you go turn off, it's going to give you a warning saying, hey, you won't be able to find my iPhone service. So I would definitely leave it on. If for no other reason, just use that one service. If you scroll down, you'll be able to set which applications you want to use it. And as you install more applications, they'll ask you about that location service. Just say no, and if you're unsure or if you accidentally hit yes, you just come back to this. Camera's going to geotag your photos. Facebook, a lot of check-in features. Maps I leave on just because I always want my GPS location and I don't want to have to constantly enable my GPS. Obviously, Photoshop Express, I don't need a location for that. Scan, I don't need a location for that. Siri, I'd recommend leaving that on because Siri uses location services to give you restaurants and whatnot. Speed Test is another application I use. I turn it off for that. Weather, I want to leave it on because I want accurate weather information for my area. And of course, Find My iPhone, probably the most necessary feature of location services. The next feature that we're going to look at turning off is vibration. And that's when your phone vibrates whenever you receive a phone call, a text, an email. So we'll go into settings, go down to sounds, and then in here, the top one is whenever your phone is in silent mode. It doesn't have any other way to notify you other than vibrate. So that might be something you want to leave on. And we scroll down here to your ringtones. Any other notification, if you turn this feature on right here, it's going to vibrate when that happens. Now, if you don't receive a tremendous amount of calls or emails or texts in a day, you're not going to see a huge battery difference here. But if you do receive a lot and you have audio notifications on, you might as well turn vibrate off. Next thing we're going to look at is auto brightness or screen brightness. Your screen being at its brightest setting all the time is going to cause a tremendous drain on your battery. So you definitely want to set it to auto. If you click on settings, you go down to brightness, and you'll see here it's set to auto. All you do is hit this switch, and then you can adjust your brightness as you see fit to your situation. If you leave it on, the iPhone has sensors that can tell what the ambient light is around you, and it'll set your screen brightness for the best possible picture. Some people like to crank their brightness all the way up. I would not recommend that because it's going to really put a drain on your battery. If anything, you can turn this off and slide your slider down to the lowest possible brightness that still allows you to see your phone. That way it conserves the battery. It gives you the greatest amount of battery time. Next feature we're going to look at is the auto lock timer, or the time it takes for your phone to shut off and go to the lock screen. If you click on settings, then you go down to general, then you scroll down to auto lock. I believe by default it's 1 minute. On this, you want it as low as possible while still allowing you to do what you need to do. Normally whenever I do demos, I'll set it to 5 minutes so it doesn't time out. Other than that, I leave it at 1 minute. If you can get away with 1 minute, I would definitely recommend going with 1 minute. The next recommended setting I don't really buy into, but I guess if you use music a lot, it could cause a drain on your battery. If you go to settings, you go down to music, and you have your EQ. So what people are recommending is that you turn EQ off. I personally don't think that it's going to be that huge a drain for me, but I don't listen to music nonstop on my phone either. So if you listen to a tremendous amount of music and you're away from any kind of a charger, you can try turning this off, giving it a couple days, see if it improves your battery life. I don't necessarily buy into it. So there you have it. There's a few tips and tricks for you to prolong the life of your iOS device battery. I hope they help. Please leave some comments. Let me know if it worked for you, if you didn't. If you have any other tips or tricks, please leave those in the comments so other people can take a look and give them a try. iOSmojo.co is a new channel, so I know we only have a few videos up. But I'll definitely try to bring you more content as quickly as possible. I just want to make sure they're somewhat relevant and useful. If you have any suggestions, please let me know, and I'll see you next time.